she's running on, and any questions you might have. I mean, I've known Manny for quite a while, and I think he'd be a great candidate to be the mayor of the city of Lawrence. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to one Manny Gonzalez.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, South Lawrence West Neighborhood Association, the board. Thank you to all of you that took time from your busy schedules, your families, to come down and learn more about me. I feel like I know all of you. It's almost like just having a nice conversation in the neighborhood, and that's what it takes, right? I can tell you all my ideas, but if I don't come here to listen to you on what is important to you, what is it that you're looking for in the next mayor of the city of Lawrence, then I'm not doing anything, right? I'll tell you a little bit more about me because I feel that sometimes we know each other forever, but we don't really know each other really. So I am going to tell you a little bit more about me, especially for those that don't know me as well as Oscar Vasquez, who knows me, or Elsa Sanchez. So, because we went to high school together. So I came from Puerto Rico in 1982 as a teenager. Didn't speak English, still don't, but I tried to get by. Came here with all my family who were looking for better life, and this city has offered, and we found better life. Went to Lawrence High School, where I met my wife. We've been together now 40 years. 3 kids, 3 grandkids. Been on the fire department for almost 30 years. Served the Lawrence Auxiliary Police for about 3 years. So I've been a public servant since I can remember. My mom came here and she started serving this community. She started giving. So for me to want to serve, it comes easy, if you ask me. So when I volunteer for different events, it's because it comes from the heart. And at this stage in my life, I could have chosen to retire and enjoy the grandkids or continue to serve, right? So I'm a firefighter, I'm a private investigator of 18 years. I have a nonprofit called Heal Lawrence. We help. Thank you, Tom. We serve fire victims in Lawrence, but we have never turned our backs on somebody that calls from Methuen, Andover, North Andover, Haverhill. That's what it is. But the program is structured for Lawrence, so Heal Lawrence. 13 years, in the last 5, the state believes in us, so they have given us funding. State Representative Francisco Polino just fought for us, so now we're getting $50,000 this year from the state, so we continue to help fire victims in Lawrence. And part of that is to keep educating families that rent about getting renter's insurance, about putting them in a hotel for a couple of nights, sometimes up to 5, sometimes more, depending on their need. So that is Juan Manny Gonzalez, right? The firefighter, the public servant, the father, the husband, the grandfather, somebody who deeply cares about Lawrence. And when people say, why are you running? I said, because I deeply care about the quality of life for this city. And I really want to step up and make a difference on what it is that it matters. The quality of life is so important, right? People want to feel safe. People want to feel that they belong. And right now, this community needs to come together. That is why we're running on one Lawrence. One Lawrence, because it is all that it should be, right? There's no north or south, east or west. One Lawrence is what I'm running on, and that's what we're going to do. So to achieve one Lawrence, it's going to require all of you to join and participate to accomplish one Lawrence, right? So I can speak all night on what it is that I want to do, but if I don't listen to what's important to you or what you're looking for in the next mayor, then like I said earlier, then we're just going to be on square one. We're not going to move forward. So let's pay attention to what's happening, right? I believe the budget just came out. It was something like 470 million, 355 is going to the schools, and so we're going to get like 115 to do the rest of the operations. But I encourage all of you to stay tuned, pay attention to what it is that is happening in the city. I always said that there's a lot of good things happening in the city. Sometimes people don't see it because those in charge find a way to create negativity. And when you don't do things right, and when you don't hire the best qualified individuals to provide you the necessary services, that's what happens. When you're not transparent with the monies that come into the city, that's what happens, right? So transparency, integrity, and respect. Those three things are big for me. And if somebody wants to bypass those three things, that's on them. I would not do that. I want to be transparent with you. I want to let you know what's going on, what's coming in, how it's spent, and whatnot. But right now, it's just a matter of how we're going to get elected, right? If we get caught up on what I'm going to do, I haven't gotten elected yet. I got to get to the doors. I got to get to meet you. I got to shake your hand, look you in the eyes, and tell you I need your vote. I need your support. We want to bring change to this community. I am a son of Lawrence, deeply care, and I really want to be your next mayor. I really do. I care so deep. I chose not to move when things were hard, and I'm not moving from Lawrence. My wife and I decided that One Colonial Drive is our home, and that's where, until God decides to take us from here, we are going to be there. We're going to be your neighbors, and I'm always going to be here. I'm still active. I'm working tomorrow on South Broadway, Ladder 4. I'm the permanent chauffeur of Ladder 4, whether people like it or not. I know I get hot when I'm talking like that, but that's just me. So you can see a regular guy in front of you, because that's what I am, a regular person that you can relate to, that you can talk to, that understands the struggles. When I came to Lawrence in 1982, the first job that I had was Flavor Fresh on Prospect Street for $3.25 an hour. So from there, I went to Mall of the Mills for $5 an hour, and I thought I hit the jackpot. And from there, the school department $7.35. And you can see today I'm a firefighter, I'm a private investigator, but I know what it takes to come up from nothing. And I understand the struggles that people go through now. And that's what we're going to do. Fight for everybody equally across the board, not for a group, no particular group. One Lawrence. I lived my whole life in North Lawrence, and now I live in South Lawrence. As you read the palm card, it states that some people, or the powers to be, used to divide the city by the river. If you lived below the river, south, you were the rich person, and they used to label it other things that I'm not going to say. So I lived in North Lawrence most of my time. I never used that river to divide us. I always thought it was a beautiful river, that a lot of mills used it for the right reason, right? A lot of people, we came here to work, and that Merrimack River is a beautiful river, so I would never look at it as a dividing body of water. We have 3 rivers, right? So, by the way, that topic came up yesterday, that they want to change the flag of Lawrence, and I was like, oh boy, where are we going with that? No. And I was at the Neighborhood Association for Colonial Heights, and they said that they want to put Lawrence on the flag, and people objected. They said, leave the flag alone, let it be the way it is, and whatever. But at least I'm staying on top of what's going on. You know what's affecting the city of Lawrence. So I'm not going to get caught up with all the issues. I just want to hear you, what's important to you, and please give me the chance to at least get to your door, look in your eyes, shake your hand, and ask you for your vote. I'm asking you tonight, but I'm going to ask you again. The campaign really just began, but I'm going to work harder than the other side to show that I mean business. I have what it takes to assemble an administration that is going to represent everybody equal across the city. But for now, it's about getting elected, getting people out to vote. And September 16 is an important date, right? It's slated for September 16 primary. We don't know if that is going to be a primary or not, but we have to prepare for it as if it is going to happen September 16. So I'm going to open it up for any questions, concern, ideas from anybody, and we'll go from there. We'll keep talking some more. But I know that it's not everything that you want to hear, but I'll get to you and we'll continue to talk some more.
Don't forget, we're doing early voting before that. The state's through the 12.
So you heard it right there. If you are interested in helping on election day, use whatever mechanism you are allowed to use to make sure that you come out and vote and that you're free on election day, maybe to help with something else. You might be able to help or give us a hand on election day if you already voted the day before or whatnot. So please stay on top of the dates. We will keep you informed if anything changes. But right now we're gearing up for September 16 and the early voting dates. On the back, John.
Manny, I know you're involved a lot with the youth. Last week we lost one of our gyms. The city didn't do anything to help this gym out. Now a lot of times boxing has to take an extra 30, 40 kids to their gym. And then God for the side of board is going to make another room. But, you know, city kids have nothing unless it costs money. A lot of times boxing, all they ask for the kids to do every month is bring them 2 gallons of water. That pays for your trainers. And those trainers are professional trainers. We need more activities for our children and teenagers. Not just hanging out on the streets, hanging out on the street, riding those motorcycles there and making car noises. We need a better quality of life for our kids.
100%. I keep telling young people when I see them, when I meet them, I say, this is your world. Take it. We are just here paying rent on your world. Young people, you are the future. This is your world. We just live in it. And they are really liking it. So when I bring 4 or 5 cases of water to the Loudtown Boxing Club, and I see the conditions that they are training under, I'm encouraged because I see police officers volunteering, training them. And when Daisy and Boxy had to close Canal Street Boxing, I was like, wow, so this guy's Loudtown had 50, now they're going up to like 75. Thank God for the man you just mentioned, Salupoli, who the only thing that divides the gym, Loudtown gym right now is a wall. Thank God that they can take from the next wall down and expand. But to see these kids using a track, you know what the track is? The basement of that mill, 354 Merrimack Street, across from Salvatore's, the one closest to Merrimack Street.
Yeah.
So I've been going into these dungeons, and I just look there, the ceiling in that gym, you can actually almost touch the ceiling. And we have world-class boxers in there training. But it seems that to other people, that's not important. Lawrence has always been known for boxing. Remember when we had Edwin Santana kicking around, fighting on ESPN and all that? People are forgetting about that. So, John, to your point, if we want those young people to get off the motorcycles, doing wheelies, and being dangerous on the street, we gotta offer alternatives. And I think that through recreation, we can do that. So I think that we just gotta fight for the funding and do more for recreation. I just ran into Frank Canelli at Triple E's, and I said, I remember when Joe Paralisi was running the Recreation League. And there was more activities for us, the young people, and there was activity for the older folks, and we gotta do that. Sometimes we bring our kids, and everybody wants to watch the kids. Sometimes you can, depending on the activities. We wanna do some things as well. If we have the gymnasiums in the city, we have open gym 3 times a week. Let's do 5 days a week. Why South Lawrence Street to go mad in the park? Let's open them up. I understand, unions get involved, but I have pretty good communication with unions, right? The custodians are gonna say, you're gonna use the gym, I wanna get paid an hour to clean it up. We'll work around those things, but we definitely have to do more for the young people so that we can keep them safe off the street, right? So thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else?
More of an observation. If you go to downtown Haverhill right now, it's booming. Go to downtown Lowell, it's booming. Go to downtown Lawrence, it's not. It's where not selling the city. There's no effort at all to sell the city of Lawrence. That it's a good place to come to. That there's activities, there's restaurants, there's a downtown, and I don't see anything from this administration that's doing anything to try and sell Lawrence. Forget about just downtown.
Sure.
Selling the city of Lawrence. There's more interest in paying individuals to speak English for the mayor. There's more, I mean, there's what, $350,000, $400,000 being kind of wasted on consultants, et cetera, in just the mayor's office. $400,000 goes a long way to paying a janitor for a gym to keep it open, et cetera. $400,000 goes a long way to advertise downtown. There's some good restaurants now.
Absolutely.
But there's nothing going on, and we really need to develop a plan. You know, you keep hearing, you hear it, oh, we've got a 5-year plan. What is it? There's no we've got a 5-year plan. It's great to say it, but there's nothing concrete to say this is what we're going to do, A, B, C, D, and how we're going to get people to come to the city.
The man's right on point, right? I always said it, Lawrence is loaded with potential. Lawrence has never been really showcased for its true values. Because even when you say that you're from Lawrence, people look at you different. And I don't want people to bow their heads to anybody anymore. If somebody asks you where you're from, just say, I am from Lawrence. And look them in the eyes, proud as can be, a proud Laurentian. And that's what we're going to build. A city that when they say, where are you from? I am from Lawrence. And there's a lot of good things happening in Lawrence. We have new leadership, and we mean business. So, yes, new restaurants, new businesses happening, but it's not being showcased the way it is. So I sit down with restaurant owners on Essex Street, and I said, what is affecting you? So they go from parking meters to not enough parking. Or if we want to do a valet parking, when the car pulls up, by the time the chauffeur wants to get in to move the car, the police officer is moving you. And we all know Essex Street has sidewalks, probably the largest sidewalk in the city. And I'm thinking, I see them, that they're being repaired now. Has anybody thought about maybe cutting pieces of that sidewalk at certain locations in which you would have a drop-off? So that people can go to those restaurants and give a chance for that person, that customer, to get out safely. Instead of just, this is the time, if they're broken and you're repairing them, this is the time to make those cutouts. It might not be as wide, but maybe it doesn't need to be that wide. Maybe we should be creating a place that people can come in and enjoy. And another thing that the restaurant owners will say is that there's a lot of residential units coming in, and they're saying, hey, we got parking, but we got to honor it. Parking is for the residents that are coming into those units that are being built. It's not that they're adding more parking for you to come in and enjoy. And my dream would have been a parking garage somewhere near downtown that you can take a trolley from that parking garage to take you around Essex Street, Common Street, and so where people can see all the restaurants, so people can get out and eat something, get back on it, and take it right back to the car. That is just like a dream. But if we get rid of all the empty lots that we have right now, where are we going to bring that parking garage that we need? Parking is affecting Lawrence, downtown, and in every corner of the city of Lawrence. And as a person who drives a big fire truck, parking at times is treacherous for us to get to your house. To respond as quick as I can to you, the way sometimes people park and how congested the streets are, it's a problem. It's a concern. I was just speaking to a gentleman here, And I said, yeah, Abbott Street is implementing residential parking stickers because all the customers from South Union Street, from the barber shops and the bodega and other businesses were parking on Abbott, on Bailey, on Farnham. And now they have their signs, residential parking sticker only. So they say that it's making a difference, but this is why I want to keep listening to you. What is important to you? What's affecting? Different neighborhoods get affected by different stuff, whether it's loud music, parking. So I want to keep taking a few more calls, please. I really want to hear more. Oscar.
My name is Oscar Vasquez. Moved into Lawrence in 1984. Been knowing Mr. Manny Gonzalez here since we were in high school together. And we went to college together in Northern Essex. When I was growing up as a young teenager, I found it that Lawrence was very respectful. We respected each other. We helped each other out. Our neighbors next door. Whatever the case might be, we had a lot of respect. And during the course of the years, as years going by, we've been losing a lot of it. And I mean a lot. So, quality of life, that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to come home, open up my windows, watch TV, and not hear a car going boom, 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 boom. You know? I know it sounds pity, but when a person gets up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work and travel an hour once in a while, and then to come back an hour and a half, you know, it's kind of.
I'm on the main strip here, Andover Street.
Yeah.
That's all you hear.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to open the
You know,
window because of the noise.
That's, that's one. Two, when, snow. I'm probably one of the few in my block that cleans the whole entire sidewalk. I live in a corner. And sometimes they take my snow blower as far as 2 or 3 houses. How can we get some of these owners to do what they need to do?
Well, Oscar, a lot of times people ask to create more ordinances, but if we don't enforce what we already have, then we're just going to keep loading the books into I don't know what, right? So it's just a matter of leadership that it's going to say, you know what, we are going to try this, and the way that you will stay away from being fined is that you'll do your job. It's almost like Bill Belichick's, right? Do your job, right? And one thing I want to touch on, and when you said people care for each other, please let's not let humanity go away.
Right, and I have 2 beautiful kids, 33 and 34 and 31. And my kids, I get compliments all the time. One of my boys, he's a director at the Boys Club, and everybody just comes up to me and says, "How you did that to your kids?" I mean, it wasn't easy. Wasn't easy.
Well, we start a family, we got to be responsible, right? When we bring them into this world, there are responsibility. And Boys and Girls Club, right? So my wife and I have always been volunteers there. The Boys and Girls Club is not a daycare. The Boys and Girls Club is a beautiful place in which they will teach your kids. They can grow up in a healthy environment. They'll help them with the homework and they'll feed them. But please don't drop them off and say walk home. Water Street is a very dangerous road for your children to be walking on, and we don't want to repeat of what happened with the kids that drowned in the river because they were supposed to walk home. So for my wife to have to hear those kids drowned because of you guys, the staff working on that's something that my wife will carry forever, and she has nothing to do with those kids perishing. But it hurts when somebody blames you, but they don't want to put blame on themselves. So we have to work on that. You need leadership that is going to need people like the Boys and Girls Club. What do you need? The Boys and Girls Club is having a piece of land next to them that they would love to be able to develop it themselves and manage it. But all the properties that they give them away to the LRA, that's one piece that they would not give to the Boys and Girls Club so they can develop it and maintain it themselves. right? So it's fair for others, but for entities like the Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence that earned this spot to, hey, what do you need to keep growing? Give them the piece of land. And I'm not saying giving it for free. They were ready to buy it and build it themselves. It was enough. So I understand, and we don't want to get caught up in all that. But to your point, humanity to me is important. If we're down almost 40 members of the police department, I encourage you guys, just like I did at Colonial Heights Neighborhood Association, continue to take care of each other. Because if you have a strong neighborhood association that look out for each other, we can make a difference. Don't turn your back on your neighbor when something is going on, because tomorrow it could be you that needs that neighbor. So yes, the police cannot be everywhere that they need it because they're short staffed, but at least we can take care of each other. And Oscar, what you just said, shoveling, snow blowing for neighbors, thank you for doing that. I do the same. I have a lot of elderly neighbors, and they appreciate me for that. I don't need to get paid, but I see their smile on a simple thank you, or they'll bake some cookies like Brenda does. But thank you for bringing up all those points. The snow removal, everybody knows what happened this past winter. Not even on a major snowstorm, because we have had worse. Since 1982 that I came to Lawrence, we have had some major snowstorms. That was not one. It's just that, again, when you have the foremen that are prepared to do the job, they would go out and make sure that the streets are being cleaned, and that the next day they follow up, and whatever wasn't done, they do it. And if cars got to be moved or towed, then you have the personnel. So if you're feuding with different towing companies, that I know is happening, if you're feuding with towing companies and you're taking them off the roster so they cannot tow, when you need them to help you tow cars, they are going to say no. And that's what happened. When they went into trouble, when Giants and Cody's couldn't tow no more, they asked other companies and they said, if we cannot tow for you during the good times, we're not going to do it during the bad times either. So that's why they ended up with cars that were buried and they couldn't move them because the other companies didn't have any place to bring them. So we got to do better. We have to do it with a strategic plan. You got to have the right people, qualified people to do the job. It doesn't matter what department, just have qualified people, not by favoritism.
In Methuen, they have signs, contribute to local charities, not panhandlers. Why can't Lawrence do that?
We asked that question before, brought it up to city councilors, because I was thinking that we should at least know who the person is. They said, does this person need to register so that at least you know that Manny Gonzalez is the guy asking for money in your neighborhood? And I remember a councilor said, nope, they already tried it in Springfield and they went to court and you can't do that. But I am willing to look into something like that. And I'm willing to sit down with DJ Beauregard in Methuen, the mayor. I have a pretty good relationship with him, and find out what it is that they do in Methuen or in Haverhill and Draken. And I want to learn from them. I have a good relationship with Melinda Barr in Haverhill, so we would do that. I would sit with those mayors and say, what are you guys doing about this up here? And we'll work on it. So I am willing to ask for a seat at the table to deal with that problem. Councilor Russell.
You brought up several issues about 5 minutes ago. You're talking about trying to get people into the downtown area, and we're talking about parking. Now, I haven't been involved in redevelopment projects in the past as a civilian. I am not for giving all those pieces of property to the LRA. Why can't the city grab one or two of those and build multi-story municipal parking for getting people into the downtown area? Now that's one possibility. The second one is, now you're going to have to turn back your way back clock on this. Jim O'Donoghue, 2013, remember him?
That's right.
He had some interesting ideas about the rail trail. And one of them that him and I batted around was taking that parking lot down at the end of Manchester Street by eminent domain, making that parking, and then taking the tracks on the rail trail and make it a one-way shuttle trolley down to the Essex Street area where you could get buses that would do the Common, Union, and Essex Street loop for free. And then you could get back on your trolley, go back to your car up there at Manchester Street. Would you be interested in advocating for something like that?
Yes and yes.
Now, the one-
Because the only time that parking in the city is gonna happen is when you guys get me elected. When you guys get me elected, I'll definitely look to work on a parking garage downtown, and hopefully the Buckley garage is still available, that we can do something with it, because in the way it's going, it's be like, by the time we get there, there will be no lots available for me to implement those
One
ideas.
thing that I will say about all of the proposed LRA taking over of the land, they said, well, you passed it back in 2017. It's the law, we gotta follow it. We can't change it, but again, we have people out there, and I'm using an extreme, that want to change the Second Amendment rights that we have. Well, it's changed in a time frame since then. Well, 8 years is still a short time frame, but the thing has changed. The whole dynamics of the real estate environment has changed. You're trying to do something to upgrade the city, give a couple of those parcels for multi-story municipal parking.
Absolutely.
But again, we have, I won't get into it. but-
No, Councilor Russell, I really appreciate that, because it's a concern. Again, I said it earlier, when those restaurants said, imagine if we could have a place that people can park, pull up up front, drop off the customers, and then my staff will go park the car. But where are they gonna go park the car? There is nowhere to be brought. Maybe right now, if they decide to listen to whoever's recording and say, oh, that's a good idea, let's do that. Manny said it in 2025, let's not wait for him to get there in 2026, let's do it now. And I would be happy. I said, well, that's something, that was my idea, but if they put it to work, I'm okay, because it's for your good. So that means I did something good for the community. And that's important to me. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep talking about it. So, some candidates will say, I'm not going to tell all my ideas, because then they'll steal them. But if my ideas are beneficial to you, go ahead, take them all.
We know how parking works in the city of Lawrence. I got my parking spot and I'm not moving, I'm not giving it up. But the parking in the municipal lot that could be built would be from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, would be restricted strictly for business use.
That's unbelievable.
Okay? You want to go to a restaurant, you've got a parking spot there. Whether it's somebody taking your car over there or you do it yourself. But the parking spots are there. Come 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, those spots are available for the general public to use to get off the streets. But again, they don't like hearing ideas like that.
Rich, I think that unfortunately the parking lot on Manchester Street is probably going to be gone.
Well,
And you,
there's several big lots on Bethune Street
yeah,
that they want to take over.
we definitely, I tell people, we don't know what we're going to get, what we're going to find when we get there. And I say that being positive, but I understand how hard I got to work to unseat an incumbent. Right? This is the person that has the base, but I know I can take it, because I know that you guys want change. You guys want change, and I know you guys believe in me, and I'm going to work extremely hard to make sure that we get there. There's a lot of things that could be done. I'm hearing so many beautiful things, and they are doable. You guys are not asking me for anything impossible. And imagine that you can build a walkable city, or that you can park there, use the trolley, use whatever, come back. I understand the rail is now going to be a trail from like Salem through Methuen, Lawrence, ending at the Falls Bridge. Is what they're saying, that it's going to end up on top of the track bridge
There's
there.
enough room there that they could put a single track trolley and put the rail trail in there at the same time.
So it was something that James Patrick Donahue always promoted. It was never taken into consideration. But I truly believe that whenever I go to a neighboring city or town and I see a little trolley that looks really nice, taking people around, and like you said, Haverhill, as soon as you go River Street and you get into Haverhill, and you see the first business, it has some chairs outside, but it looks beautiful. So when Dan Rivera was in office, I said, I want to be in a commission and a committee that I can go to these businesses downtown. I said, not to find them, but how can we make the front of your business look more enticing? Even the bodegas, right? The small businesses, they usually put a lot of newspapers in the front windows, and you cannot really see what's behind them. And people usually get turned off by that. Says, hey, can we advertise different instead of the old days back home, newspapers everywhere? And if people got to fight to see what's in it, they're not coming in. And I say this with God honest truth. Public safety is at the top of my ticket. And remember, we were short like 40 officers. I think we're down to 35. Is what the number that I just got at the other neighborhood association. They put an advertisement. They were recruiting lateral transfers. And how can people leave Methuen if they're making $20,000 more to come work in Lawrence to do more work for less money? It's going to be hard catching up to that. This is why I say, let's keep taking care of each other in the meantime until we up our numbers. Before, the Lawrence Auxiliary Police used to help out, but now they can't because the commission prohibits them from doing so. So we have to think outside the box. We cannot continue to lose police officers. So, and I don't like when I say we're short, and somebody will say, well, everybody else is short. I believe I just heard that Haverhill is fully staffed. So we have to worry about Lawrence. What is it that I want to do? Come up with an idea or a plan to retain our officers so they don't leave. And I truly believe that when you're a mayor that respects processes and respects contracts and respects union, those people would not leave. At least not that easy, not in bunches like that. Because when you try to put your friends as the chief of a fire department or police department, those things don't help. The morale goes down to the ground, the infighting starts, and you don't get the best services possible. So we don't want to see that. As mayor, I would definitely follow processes and respect contracts and union, treat them with decency so that they can give you the best services possible. Anybody else? Elsa, in the back.
There's a lack of accountability in the city.
100%.
And it starts at City Hall. Because when you call to find out information or look at their website, it don't help you. No one picks up a phone and answers your call. You have to go downtown to go and see someone in person because no one's answering the phone. There's a lack of accountability. And the other thing, we don't have visionaries anymore working in the city. Because if we want to see a better future for our kids here, we need to see a vision of how we want to see Lawrence in 20 years. Better.
That's right.
We
So,
don't have the people
Yep.
in those positions with the visionaries that we need. We have friends and associates of people working in departments that have no background or no qualification for these jobs.
ladies and gentlemen, so I want to take this time to at least thank Elsa for being here. She's the president of Tower Hill Neighborhood Association. And she works really hard up there, and we have to support that neighborhood association. I always ask residents, can we please start joining the neighborhood association, participate, learn, stay up with what's going on. The police, the fire, the city comes up and give all the stats and information, but if you don't go to the neighborhood meeting, you're gonna miss it. And there's a lot going on in every district. So let's stay together. This is why I keep saying one Lawrence. Also, but that is so true. It's just accountability. If I hire you and I just don't care about what you do, then I don't know what is happening. I actually said, I hear what's going on with the schools, the discipline problems and other issues. As a mayor, I would have no problem making unannounced visits to a school, because usually when you say you're going to the school tomorrow, you never find anything wrong. whether it's discipline problems or whatever it is, they want to make sure that everything looks good. I would have no problem if I have to leave the superintendent in his office and go by myself, I would do that. The same way I do it now when I go bring a coffee. I would show up, that way I can see exactly what it is that's affecting different schools. Announce visits. It's nice because you're being courteous to people, but sometimes to fix a problem, you gotta see the problem. You gotta identify it and then work on it. This is not about pinning anybody against anybody or making somebody look bad. You know what I mean? I look at this gentleman right here. He hired me on the fire department in 1996. And I struggle. I came on the fire department as temporary. And I used to go in his office all the time and say, Chief, when are you making me permanent? Chief, when are you making me permanent? And the mayor at the time was Mary Claire Kennedy. And little that I knew that the grace of God, I was hired because later I found out that they should have never put it out as temporary firefighters. But I came on as a temporary firefighter, and eventually the chief fought for us, and they made us permanent. So Chief Schaefer, I thank you for all the service to the country and the civil life. Anybody else?
We've been talking about all these ideas and everything that we have, but what kind of money is coming in to the city for grants and stuff like that? And will it continue? Do you know anything about what's happening with the financial end of it?
So the transparency that somebody mentioned earlier, the transparency that I always mention, transparency, integrity, and respect, is one of the things that affects that. That people say Lawrence is one of the poorest cities in the state, but we know for a fact that good money comes into Lawrence via grants or whatever. We just don't know exactly where it goes. And that's what frustrates a lot of you when that happens. Because then when you get hit with a tax increase or whatever it is, you'll be like, but we heard money came in, we don't see it. And remember, this current administration came into the city of Lawrence and into power with a pile of money from the pandemic, the ARPA funds. And even the senior advisor to the mayor said, I never seen a mayor that come into power with this amount of money. He said that to me and my wife, face to face. And I said, well, this money is not renewable. This money is not coming back, so let's please not try to spend it all in one day. So administrations flow how they flow, they spend how they think is best. Obviously, we don't have to agree with it. And I am one that would say to you, I voted for you, and then the politician will say, well, you voted for me, you put me there to represent you in the best interest of you. But if I put a stop and I say, whoa, Rich, I don't like how you're going. I put you there, but I don't like where you're going with this. Just because I gave you my vote doesn't mean that it's carte blanche, that I have the right to say, as a voter, as a resident, I'm not liking where we're heading, so I will not be supporting you anymore. And I think that that's what people got to do a little bit more than that. So the money's come in, a lot of grant money. When you have good grant writers that share your vision, you can draw a lot of grant money into the city to put into different programs. I've seen it before. I've seen it to Sullivan when he had when I grew young was our grant writer, and then for whatever reason, Willie Lantiva removed her, and she's back in the picture now. But you have to have people that are going to go out there and seek money that is available to bring into the city for programs that are needed to give you the best services possible. So again, you get that by putting the right people in power.
We also need a mayor who's willing to beat on the door of the legislature.
We need a mayor that's just going to be for the people, for the entire city of Lawrence. And that when he's going to give you an update about what's going on in the city of Lawrence, doesn't go to a radio show to do it in Spanish on just one radio show on Wednesday morning, and find different ways so that you all of you, South Lawrence, East, West, District 8, District Tower Hill, Prospect Hill, everybody gets the updates, not just people are fed up. People are fed up that they're not being kept with what's going on in the city. So I would be willing to create different programs, whether it's a bilingual program, whether it's English-speaking program, come up with something. We got newspapers, you got Tommy, you got Rumble, you got Eagle Tribune. We just got to use all the media out there to update everybody, not just a certain group of people, a certain district. It's got to be the entire city of Lawrence. Everybody needs to be updated. And please allow me to recognize school committee member Jonathan Guzman, one of our young stars. Thank you for being here, Jonathan. That's one of the
Could there be big news from Jonathan rolling out this week? Is he have secrets we can share?
Thank you for the point, well taken. This is why you, the voters, have to really pay attention. If you're looking for a new mayor, somebody that's going to be different, somebody that's going to be responsible, we should also be talking to our city councilors when they come knocking on your door, asking for your support. And you can bring up points like that. Hey, are you going to be friendly to this guy that's running? Hey, are you going to be able to do this for the people? Or when people make FOIA requests, are you going to, make sure that they get it? Not making people jump through hoops for this kind of things. For requests. A request, if I put a request, I want to get my request. I want to get my information, and I shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars to get it. I am not sure exactly why they're doing that, Tommy, why they're charging that kind of money.
Because they don't want to give me the documents.
But I truly believe that any one of you, when you ask for documents, it should be given. If you go through the process and you make the request the way you should, then you should get your information. And that goes for any one of you, not because Tommy's media or not. Every citizen, every resident of this city, when you make a FOIA request, you should get what you're looking for. I think it's only fair, and I think that's about holding people accountable. What we don't want to hear is that earlier I spoken to a young lady back here, and she said that she called City Hall and asked a question, and she said that the only thing they said was no. Ma'am, am I correct? She said that they straight out no. I said, no, if a resident in the city of Lawrence takes the time to dial a number and call an office, how can we help you? Right? Just be friendly to the people that you're serving and at least have the decency to say, what is it that you're looking for? And if I don't have it, maybe I'll help you get it. But don't tell somebody no, straight up, and that's it. It's going to be harder because there are things that need to be approved by the council. So I am not going to stand here and promise you that I'm going to do the things that needs to be approved by the city council. It just can't. And that's why I tell some of the guys that are running for city council, a district or a large, be careful what you promise because you just one voice. At 9, you're just one. So don't, just be careful when you promise it. So as mayor, I cannot promise what I don't have and if it's anything that is within my power, I'll make sure you get it. And I will talk to the city councilors. I think I have good communication, and sometimes that's all it takes. It's that you build those partnerships and you earn their respect and their trust. A lot of times it's just too much fighting, and they go at each other the wrong way. But when you're a likable person, I think that they know that you mean business and that you're gonna respect them, and they usually work with you. So I hope that whoever is sitting in those 9 spots is gonna work with me. Give me the opportunity. I hope to earn their respect and their trust so we can work for the residents of Lawrence. Brenda?
2 things. Number 1, Ms. Lefebvre, Sullivan, Antigua, Rivera, and Vasquez ran their office with 5 people plus themselves. We now have a mayor that's running his office with 10 people plus himself. Will you go after the 5 people plus yourself?
Well, I'm not going to make that pledge right now because a lot of times you have to get there and see what it is that you need to run that office. If it's doable with scaling back to a certain number, then you do that. And if by the time we get there, it is necessary to have whatever number is there now, then we look to see how we can be funding that number. But if it's something that could be reduced, if there's waste, if there is unnecessary positions, assistant to the assistant to the assistant, maybe we don't need that. If I hire one person that's qualified, if I hire one person that's really qualified, maybe that person doesn't need an assistant.
And secondly, can you please, the communication from this administration stinks. It's horrible. We get nothing. We either find out the night before that there's something the next morning, or we find out the night of the event that something happened. Whereas when Dan Rivera was there, and if he burped, there was a press release.
Yeah.
It's just, this is absolutely asinine. We get nothing. You know, and people, and I'll meet, people on the street. Oh, did you know about so and so? No. Because we don't know. We don't know.
I'll tell you the things that I would not do. Things like removing the emergency management director position from the fire chief to give it to a friend so that you can create a position that came out was $130,000. I believe it's down now to like 109. If the fire chief is doing it and it's part of his job, I'd rather give him a stipend, whatever it is, 5-10 grand, rather than pay 130 to somebody just because you wanted to do that. Somebody who's proven, the chief of the fire department who dealt with the floods in 2006 that I was a victim, with the gas emergencies that just went by. There is people within the fire department that can run that position for less money than $100,000+. So I would not be supporting things like that just to take care of a friend. I understand, but I'd rather get criticized on something like that, because if I'm saving the taxpayers money, $100,000, I'd rather get the city councilors call me a crybaby, but you know what? I'll cry all day if I can save my constituents $100,000 all day. I'll take that criticism all day from any councilor, honestly. I'm here for you and nobody else, right? This is why, one thing I want to say. When I hear a city councilor say, I am so glad, I am so proud to be part of this administration, that is wrong. That's concerning. You, city council, you're not part of the administration. You're part of the local government and checks and balances. You know what I mean? You're supposed to keep an eye on what's going on and do the best you can, but you are not part of the administration. So when I heard that in public radio and no names needed, that's concerning. Those 9 people should be as impartial as they can with a good relationship with the mayor, but do not say that you're part of it. Even if you want to, you're not. Responsibly, to know what it is that I have left to work with, we have to find out what's going on. We actually have to. So it was a good point on his part for bringing it up. Elected mayor, I'm the one that's really going to be looked into, right? I'm running the city and they're looking into the finances and everything. It's almost like they're looking at me, but I want to be a partner in finding out exactly what we have to run the city. And yeah, I welcome the audit, absolutely. Elsa?
So I guess now is the time for us to speak out and get rid of these city councilors who are privileged with these jobs that are doing their jobs except for their own pockets. Now is the time to get rid of them because they're not doing anything good for the city.
Well, there you have it. I truly believe that all of you have a responsibility and a duty that when those candidates come to your house to ask for support, ask for your vote, please don't just say yes or no. Ask questions. They come into your door. What better place to take them to task? And ask the right questions. Let them know how you feel about it, your concerns, before they just make them earn that vote. That's all. Let them earn it. Councilor Russell.
Couple of, one question and a comment. First question is, would you advocate for the city to hold in abeyance of selecting the new police chief, the new fire chief, the new capital, and the new personnel director until whoever becomes the next mayor has his input or have their input into that position? Okay. The second comment, the comment I have is, everybody knows I'm a numbers freak. Does anybody know where the mayor's salaries from last year stands on the list of salaried employees in the city? Number 24 made a little over $100,000, but there were 23 people that made more money than he did. That's just a fact. But you get back to the question about holding those appointments in abeyance until after the votes have been certified in November.
So I think that I would have to revisit that question, Rich, because right now we are in May, and any positions that need to be taken care of now in May, it might be needed to run the city efficiently. So I'm not sure where I stand right now it would be hypocritical for me to just say yes, just to appease your question and say, yeah, I'm in favor of holding it because I'm running for mayor, and it's almost like if I answer that, yes, I'll hold off to it, it's because I want to elect the
I
people.
didn't say that you hold off. Do you advocate holding off the appointment of those positions until the next mayor is selected, be it you or be it Mayor DePina?
And that's what I mean. I truly believe that because I'm running for the seat, and I advocate for holding it, it's almost like I'm holding it for me, so I don't want people to see it as I'm catering for myself. But I understand your point quite frankly,
It's a case of, hopefully you're going to win, but conceivably...
I am going to win.
Conceivably, you could end up with 3 people that are lousy choices for some of those positions.
Well, Rich, I know you're going to do your due diligence going through that budget. My understanding is that now almost every department is going to have a fiscal person, a finance director in every department. For what I heard, I haven't really looked at the budget, but you let me know. But we have a couple that usually handles everything.
How did those departments ever exist without having those positions for the last 40 years to have had a council form of government?
So I'll tell you what, the same way I mentioned the emergency management director, how I was not in favor of that move, I heard this new position in the budget now for assistant fire chief. And I truly believe that when we get there, if it's not filled and it's not needed, then we have to revisit that. And I said we would be filling this if we can afford it, first of all. Because everybody's going to be asking for an assistant. I need 2 people. When I saw DPW director asking for 2 deputy directors, and I was like, and they had the ability, they were going to have the ability to make up to $145,000 each, and that all you needed was like high school diploma, then what are we doing? Again, it's the assistant to the assistant to the assistant. We got to be more responsible. Fiscal responsibility. Hold people accountable. Just have the right meeting, do the audit, whatever you got to do to find out exactly what it is that you have. And like people said, I'm just one person, but when you surround yourself with the right people, qualified people on merit, based on merit, not on favoritism, things go a lot smoother. A lot smoother. You stay away from lawsuits because you want to circumvent the process. We don't want another. We went through it for almost a year, right? 2 chiefs, 2 police chiefs. We don't want to waste funding. Right now, we're going through the process. We hope that we do the right, transparent process for the fire chief that we're looking for, right? I'm looking and I'm interested. I'm hearing that they're trying to rush the deadline on the applications. I would like to know why. If you're gonna have if you had a deadline that you have to apply, why are they making it closer? Are they trying to rush the process? This is not time to rush. Moriarty gets retired. Let's do the right thing. Let's have a transparent process. Let people apply. Let's do a search committee and go from there. Come up with the best fire chief. The best qualified fire chief should be the chief of the fire department. So that's all I got to say in that. And people might say, "Oh, but you're one of them." I said, "I'm telling you that what I always want is for the best leader. I want to be led. I'm still a firefighter. I want to be led by the best person that's going to do the best job for you guys as well."
I got one last question, I promise. You can speak from experience on this because you are a firefighter. Was it a mistake on the city's part, the mayor's part, to pull the position of fire chief from civil service?
So, different people, and you asked me for my opinion. As a union brother, as somebody who cares about having the best qualified person that went to the academies, that took the test, the fair test like everybody else, because I believe in that, then I was against being removed. And I remember going into that meeting when Chief Murphy was the acting chief and Councilor Monte was the decisive vote. And people say, don't go to the mayor's office, they're gonna convince you to vote to take it out of civil service. And she went up and they convinced her, and Murphy was removed from, the job was taken from civil service. My opinion is, and maybe it's a bias and people can see it that way, but I would have loved to have it to avoid the political jockeying that's going around. Maybe the best way was to have a test and be in civil service. Like you have to take the test that everybody takes the same test. And people might say, well, you know, the test is not fair, but it's the same test that everybody takes. At least you don't have to deal with a mayor trying to put a friend to lead an important department like the police department or the fire department. So I am in favor of being civil service. I'm not sure that it will go bad, but that is my 2 cents on that.
Thank you. Gio Bocastro is trying to get certified to be a firefighter.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Just thought I'd ask, you know.
So I have not heard that one yet. We want firefighters that want to come and serve the city of Lawrence for the right reasons, not for the pay and the benefits. It's a rewarding job that I love, and it's going to hurt me leaving it, but I'm going to continue to be close to them and work, have a good relationship with them. Because I truly believe that when you have a good relationship with police and fire, they tend to give you the extra bit. And I think that I would work extremely hard to make sure that I have a good relationship with the police chief, the fire chief, and meet up with the unions. And don't turn it into a muddy situation. Please allow me 30 seconds to introduce former City Councilor District E and former mayoral candidate, Dave Abdu. His better half was here too. Stephanie Abdu is here, and I know she had a great Mother's Day. But I honestly, I want to be thankful. I don't want to take all your night. I think I've spoken enough. But through the campaign season that we're in, I will get to your doors. I would have more events. I would hear more concerns, because I'm sure that what's affecting us today might change a little bit. Hopefully it's for the betterment. Hopefully things get better. But I'm not sure that it will. But I'm optimistic. I truly hope that things get better, honestly, for our own sake. I hope that people listen to your voices and say, this is what they're saying is important. So from recreation to the police department, the fire department, the mental health, addiction, homelessness, I truly hope that things get better so that this city continues to get better, right? People were saying to me, you know, I don't care how many parks they fix or how many trails they build along the river. If we don't have the police to keep us safe, we're not gonna go walk. And that is a concern. You know what I mean? It's just people want to feel safe in their cities, and when they do, they come out more often, they enjoy the neighborhoods, they talk to the neighbors. So we definitely have to work extremely hard to make the city a safer city and more together. So I think that I've spoken enough. If nobody else has any questions, I would love to just say thank you to all of you for coming to listen to me and to get to know me a little bit better, and I get to know you a little bit better. So please stay in contact. I know that a lot of you signed up with Anita. Oh, by the way, how can I leave this event without introducing my campaign manager, Anita? So with that being said, thank you to all of you. Please reach out to me. You have my palm cards. Most of you have my phone number. Just give me a call. We'll talk one-on-one. You all know that because you're supporting me, I got to get to those doors of people that are not supporting me yet. I got to earn a lot more people that are in this room. But if all of you can actually grab a friend or two friends, we can multiply a lot quicker. So please do that for us. Jose, thank you for recording. Thank you for always being there for me. This is Jose Davila, the president of the Instituto Cultural de Puerto Rico. And by the way, I want to make one last comment. This individual is the one that took all the heat for that famous video with the fire truck that people asked me about it. He was recording it live. I never had anything to do with it. I never asked for it. He happened to record it, so he took a lot of heat. And that's the story. So thank you, good night, and Brenda, thank you for hosting us.